People have utilized horses as a mode of transportation for centuries. In the past 100 years, horses have transformed from vital work tools to mostly companions. Despite the decrease in horse ownership, those who still own one often use them for enrichment or competition. Riding a horse uses physics just like everything else in life, but the particular sport of jumping takes another level of understanding. Before analyzing the jump with math, it is important to understand how the horse moves as it prepares, takes off, flies, and lands. In order to jump with optimum strength and precision, a horse has to set up with an even paced stride to give them the opportunity to size up the jump and distance to take off. The horse then reaches forward and down with their neck in order to lower their front legs and center of mass. They then extend their front legs forward, allowing them to slow down relatively quick, bringing their hind legs further under their body. Once the horse has completed its last complete stride, it begins to shorten its neck and raise its head. This motion puts the horse's weight behind onto its hind legs, compressing its legs to a coil, creating maximum compression, which gives the horse the ability to accelerate. This is an example of Newton's third law, where when the horse pushes against the ground with a force, the ground pushes back with the same force, allowing the horse to jump up and clear the obstacle. Newton's second law is also demonstrated in the takeoff. Depending on the height of the jump and the weight of the horse, it needs to use a force. This is why big horses like Clydesdales don't make good jumpers. More on that later. A horse's power is best when the hip joint is vertical over the hoof. After the horse takes off, it tucks its front knees tight against its body and lifts its back legs to do the same. Through the air, the center of mass should follow a parabolic trajectory. On the landing, the horse swings its neck and head up to lessen the impact. After the second leg hits the ground, the horse pushes down and backward on the ground as the hind end compresses to meet the ground, moving forward to get out of the way of the hindquarters. Not all horses can jump 2 meters like the Olympic level ones. Those horses are specially selected and trained to be able to compete in high-level competitions. A base level understanding of physics is important to know when choosing a horse or deciding what your horse's max jumping height is. A good jumper is typically a tall, thin, but muscular horse with strong, dense bones. At the 2016 Olympic Summer Games in Rio, Big Star with rider Nick Skelton won the gold medal for show jumping. Big Star is a beautiful example of a world-class jumper. He weighs about 1,500 pounds or 680 kilograms and is 1.7 meters tall from the back. In order for this horse to jump, it needs to exert a force on the ground. Here is Big Star's average force used for jumping in his gold medal round.
That's very good. Come on, Nick, gallop. He's clear all the way, 42.82.
All horses have the ability to jump at least 0.8 meters to 0.91 meters without training. However, even with training, some horses just don't have the ability to go much higher than that. Take a Clydesdale. They are a lot heavier than the average horse, meaning they need a lot more force in order to get off the ground than a thinner horse. Here is the math for an average Clydesdale jumping. The average Clydesdale has to exert almost 3,000 more newtons of force to be able to propel upward. When jumping, more times than not, the jump isn't perfect. This can lead to some ugly run-ins with the laws of physics. When a horse chips into a jump, that means that it didn't have good striding before, so it had to add in a half stride. A chip forces the horse to slow down quicker at the base of the jump, which demonstrates Newton's first law, for the rider is often flung forward due to them still accelerating, while the horse is quickly slowing down. The rider is usually thrashed upward as the horse jumps up, causing them to fly forward. Then once the horse lands, the person usually gets pushed forward by the butt of the horse, sending them flying into the dirt. Similarly to chipping, riders whose horses leave long are forced to compete against Newton's first law. A horse that leaves long has a bad distance before the jump, but instead of adding a half stride, they jump further back from the base. This causes the rider to get left behind. They continue moving forward, but the horse is moving up, causing them to get thrown forward even more onto the horse's shoulder or sometimes the ground. A refusal is the worst form of not successfully completing a jump, for it often ends with the rider on the ground. When a horse refuses, it stops usually at the base of the jump rather abruptly. Because of the sudden stop, Newton's first law is the most exaggerated of refusal. Whether the horse is jumping 2 meters or 0.2 meters, all riders constantly battle with physics to try and become faster and jump higher. It takes a certain level of skill to successfully jump a horse, but the more you do it, the more you learn to appreciate the delicate balance of physics behind it.